This is online journalism. My name is Xavier with an X. Today we're going to talk about interviews. Yes, it's a main topic, a basic thing to know if you're a web reporter. And interviews that are done indoors. This is a specific category of interviews. This is lesson number 9. So let's do it. Action! Indoor interviews are the ones that we have at least a 30-minute range to set up the interview. Otherwise, even though if we do an indoor interview that we don't have any time to set up, I put it in a different category. I would say those would be like flash interviews and very similar to the exterior interviews or outdoor interviews. And we're going to see that on the next lesson. So today we're going to talk about indoor interviews and the ones that we have at least 30 minutes to set up, okay? At least 30 minutes to set up. Why? Because those interviews we have not a huge control, but a little control of what is going to be happening. So, for instance, is when you go to the mayor's office and you have at least his office to choose which angle, if in the meeting table or in his desk or standing up with a library in the back or some interior window. If it's an interview, let's say with a teacher or the principals at school, you can have an empty classroom in the back or the blackboard. So you are able to choose. If it's a corporate video, obviously you choose exactly where you want it. If it's in the production plant with the machines, or if it's in the office environment, or in an open technical parking lot you have there, whatever. Okay, so remember, these interviews, most of the time, or I would say all of the time, they're going to range from 5 to 10 minutes. There's no use to record more than 10 minutes for web reporting and online journalism. And that's only, like for somebody's in-depth interview of the whole life of a politician or the principal that is retiring after 50 years in your community but normally more than 10 minutes in an interview, it doesn't make sense. I would say the street interviews are even less, like 1 minute interviews. Well, so let's return. We have the background. What background do we choose for the interview? Okay? Or let's say what background we don't choose for the interview. So let's put it here like a traffic signal. We don't want flat, plain background. I mean, like a white wall or a green wall. I mean, just that looks ugly. Doesn't add anything. So a flat, very flat, plain background doesn't work. Windows, don't do windows in the background, especially looking to the outdoor of the building. Well, if it's a window, if it's a glass like division, like to a hallway or to another office or to an indoor little plaza or something like that, it may work. But windows to the outdoors, probably the mayor will look like a silhouette. So that's dumb. Okay, and also don't do, let's say, over full of things. I'm not sure what word I can use, where you have like all the mayor's diplomas, like tons and tons of, and he will be like crushed in that horrible background. So we need something that is not plain, not flat, but not really overdone of things. So simple is nice. So let's say one painting to the left or to the right, or a little plant. Plants are really nice to the left or to the right. Not, you know, like sticking out of his head, you know. So like he's like he's the thing, the base of the plant. No. But something that is not flat. Things that work nicely, like curtains. Sometimes of curtains. Sometimes of Venetian blinds kind of work nicely. Textures that are, let's say, medium. Let's call them medium textures. Work fine. Okay. Be careful with sound. We're going to address sound in another lesson. But just be sure that you don't choose the worst environment, let's say in front of a loud machine in a shop, or very near the air conditioning vent, because when it will start, it will go like that's it for the microphone will go wild. And those are things that, and maybe it's a very quiet environment, but then it happens to be lunch hour, and then they open the cafeteria and there's a terrible banging and plates and dishes, and so you just be prepared and think about the audio when you choose the location. I mean, let's say think about it a little bit. Normally, in this kind of interviews, you use two microphones, one for the talent reporter, and another one for the guy that we are interviewing. So that's more or less the way we do it. Regarding lights, and we also have a lesson on lights, but normally modern cameras have a good general lighting. But if you are going to put some lights, either you use a very soft light, or you bounce the light. Bounce the light. What is bouncing? That you just put the light up to the ceiling. Most of the ceilings are white, so they will give, you know, like a general extra light to everything in the office. Bounce it to another wall. Bounce it to the ceiling, and don't throw the lights to the mayor. Huh? You bounce the light, so it will push up the general level of the light, and probably that's enough in a normal environment. Okay, very important, the height of the camera. Obviously, if you have the camera in a very low position or a very up, you're going to diminish or enhance the power of the guy who is interviewed. And if you're interviewing an older person, that is not very nice here, because aging expresses in an ugly way in this part of the body. And if the camera is very low, it will will get in the way, you know. And if it's a lady in her 50s or 60s or more, it won't look nice. So camera height to the eyes. Okay, so everything is as normal as possible. Okay, things you have to look and be careful. Bald people. I'm sorry, but bald people are a problem. So try to have tissue paper. If you don't have, probably the secretary or most of you will find tissue paper almost anywhere. And that will help to get any reflections of a bald head, and especially like here on the forehead and the nose also. That you don't have to be bald for the nose reflections, but a tissue paper will help you. And Another thing, eyeglasses. Eyeglasses are a problem. Most of those guys in the interview, they're going to be watching the camera or watching different people that are doing the interview. They're not going to go like this, you know. Probably if I go like this, you're going to see some of the lights I have here. But normally, people just take a look in one direction. And it's important to have that the camera sees the eyes of the guy who is interviewing, because, well, they say that the eyes are like the window to the soul. So you could see if the guy is telling the truth or making sense, looking at his eyes. Okay, another thing, obviously, if you can get rid of extra sweating, maybe if, you know, the guy is like in 5 minutes and he's sweating all over, I mean, you make a stop and you just put a little, not necessarily makeup, just by putting tissue paper, you know, like getting rid of that extra sweat, it's probably be enough. Another thing that is a problem is very, very, very overweight people. If you make a more than a wider shot than this one of a fat subject, they will look fat. I mean, I know. I mean, you can't do they're never going to look thin, but you can close the shot and let's say like something like this, and they'll look, you know, like fat. They will have, you know, their fat cheeks and everything, but they won't like explode in the shot. So you just close a little bit the shot, so they don't look as fat as they are. I mean, don't overdo it. I mean, let's try to make people feel good and look good in the shot. I mean, I don't care if the guy made an ugly decision in the community or in the district or in the factory. I mean, I don't care. I mean, that is not my problem. My problem is to give a good image of him or her and to make good questions. And if the mayor or the teacher or the principal realizes that when you interview this guy, he looks good on camera, he'll be willing to give you more interviews. Regardless of you know, if you have to ask tough questions, yeah, you have to ask them. But let's try to make people feel and look as good as we can. Okay? I think that is our goal. Okay, very important, and this is for all types of interviews. When you go to an interview, you have, first of all, you should do let's call it a soft question, in order to let the guy have some confidence, get rid of the nervous strokes he has, you know. So after talking about 1 or 2 minutes, he will loosen up. So question number 1 should not be never the main question. Should be like an easy question, a general question that he or she feels comfortable. Okay, so first question, we are, let's say, lubricating him. So he gets rid of his nervous, terrible spasm, whatever. So you will see him after 1 or 2 minutes that he is speaking better, more relaxed. Then you just bang! You hit him with the main important questions you have, 1 or 2, whatever. And so he will probably answer better because he just taking control of his whatever he's saying. And after that, we'll throw in another easy question. Remember, this is for recorded interviews, not for live interviews. This is recorded interviews. So those soft questions, and let's call them friendly questions or easy questions, probably you won't use. Probably you will only use the main questions. But now and then there's important things that happen in those, let's say, easy questions or responses. So that way you will end the interview without being mad at the interviewer. I mean, just don't end the interview after the tough, terrible question, because then it's, you know, the relationship gets like weird. So, easy question, main question, another easy question, and sometimes, if you have time, you can have a last totally open question. You will ask the guy, do you want to say anything else? But remember, you have to be like record, not live. If do you want to say anything else, and if it's a live interview, you will end up like a horrible, unprofessional journalist. But as long as you can cut it, nobody will ever notice that you did, you know, like an absolutely open question. And I remember once that I made this like general open question at the end, and the mayor said, yes, as a matter of fact, I'm resigning tomorrow. So that was, you know, like breaking news. I mean, I was the first one to know that the mayor was resigning tomorrow. So now and then you have interesting things on those totally open questions at the end that 99% of the time you just cut them and they never reach the news. Okay, another thing very important, this is probably one of the main tips. When you have a guy who is new to the microphone, probably he'll answer the first question fairly well, sometimes the second question better or as good as, and then that's it. He is not prepared. I mean, he wasted all the energy in the 2 or 3 questions, and then that's it. If you have, let's call a professional guy like an actor or a politician, well, a matter of fact, actors and politicians are exactly the same. They will go like this, because they're trained. So they're probably never tired. So with the amateurs, let's call it the amateurs, they have very little possibility of repeating. So don't, you know, go on and try and say, wow, and hope that he'll do it better. The 11, 10, 20 take, no way. He'll go deeper in the hole, okay? So the guys who don't have a lot of experience will do best in the first questions, and then that's it, the end. That's the end of the energy. Another thing, if you have a cameraman, or if you are the cameraman, you have to have a set of secret signals. Secret signals with your camera guy, okay? And what are the secret signals? The secret signals are probably to start recording because maybe the mayor is saying something very important and you're not recording. So you go like this, you know, like without saying anything to the camera guy. Start recording. Or on the other side, if the mayor is talking, and you know that is not going to work. I mean, you're going to lose battery. You're going to lose memory. You're going to lose tape if it's in tape. So you just go like this, you know, cut. But you keep on acting as if you were recording, but you cut. Another thing, very, very important, is let's say that you're interviewing a guy and he is stumbling because he's afraid or he doesn't have any experience, or because people just stumble sometimes when they're talking, and he says, blah, 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 and he tries to go on, and you know that's not going to work. So what you will normally try to do is say, hey, stop, we're going to do that again because you're a total fool and you don't know how to talk on a camera, and let's do it again. If you say that, probably he'll get ashamed, nervous, and he'll do it worse the second time. So, with our set of secret signals, well, not so secret in this case, we will say, wait a minute, I had a technical problem here in the camera, let's say the cameraman, and I forgot to plug this switch here, so we have to, sorry, excuse me, we have to do it again. So you give him an opportunity to do it again without blaming him. Okay, that is great because he'll say, wow, I can do it again and I'm going to do it better. Instead of saying, oh, I'm ashamed. I mean, these guys know that I'm a total failure on camera, and now I have to try to do it again. I can't. So I mean, or the reporter will say, wait a minute, I didn't open the microphone if it's a handheld, or wait a minute, I heard a motorcycle going by and that gets into the sound, and we have to do it again. So in any case, is to make up some technical, let's say, story, technical excuse, so he will get off the hook. He will do it again, but it's not his fault. Okay? And last, the homework. This is our little wooden froggy with the homework. What is the homework? The homework is to think about these secret signals. Okay? How are you going to say to the cameraman to film or to end the filming, and this possible signals you can have or excuses to stop a lousy interview without blaming the interview, the guy who is speaking, okay? And that's it for today. I hope you really enjoy this class. See you on the next one.